So just trying to like figure it out and learning how to edit. I guess I am learning something because I'm learning how to edit. I feel like my editing skill still needs a lot of work. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it from my phone, but I feel like it should still be easy, but I just haven't figured it out. Like when I cut something out of it, like I want the transition to be smooth. Normally the transition is not smooth, and I want to work on that. I want to figure out, like, I don't know, I kind of like this setting, like, you know, because this is like ASMR, like whispering, and I want you to, like, you know, be in the headspace like you're gonna fall asleep. Like I want to make sure like you're relaxed and you're just listening to my voice, and that can help you fall asleep. So that's why I chose this setting to, like, you know, give the red light, you know, kind of like give it like a nighttime type of feel. And I do film it at night, just so you know. So I do film it at night, but I do want you to have that feeling to where you're just relaxing and listening to my voice. And you know, that can, if it's helping you sleep, if it's soothing your mind, however it is that is helping you. So I want the main focus to be my voice, but at the same time I know there are people that are like visual and like to watch. So looks believable in the videos where you're seeing like I now show a picture when I say baby AI. I don't actually know what it's called, but that's what it looks like. They'll take an audio from like maybe a show, and then they create like the baby AI, and they make it seem like, you know, they recreate scenes from like reality shows or movies using baby AIs. And you know, and in one hand, I'm like happy for the people that are into like technology and stuff like that, and they get to experiment and showcase their skill. But on the other hand, it's like that's not something we should carelessly trust humans with, because I feel like they're gonna use it to do a lot of scamming, and like older people are vulnerable to this, children are like all of us will be vulnerable to it if they can start making the AIs look like humans, where it's like you're not able to tell like the animation, like to where, because I feel like it's gonna get to a place to where we can't even tell if that's a real person or that's AI talking. And that, I find that to be crazy. Like, why do you always take things too far? Like, I just don't like that everything is becoming, you know, like, to me that's like seeing things around me happening every time relating to like technology and computer, like artificial intelligence. I'm just thinking of iRobot, and I'm just like, at any point they can take over and turn against us, because at any point they can just turn against us, and I feel like it'll be too late. And on top of that, we're losing like human interactions. Like, we're humans, we're supposed to be around each other, we're supposed to interact with each other, we're supposed to be with each other. So it's like we're losing like human connection every day. People don't know how to socialize anymore. People don't know how to hold conversations. People don't even know how to like people don't even know how to have like mental stimulation conversation. Like, people barely hug, people barely shake hands, contacts, so some of the stuff we get is without contacts, and people make their judgment off of that. And I don't think it's fair for the people to be judged based off of things that are taken out of context. So I wish they can show that. And then unseen footage is kind of like let us see them having fun, you know. It show them like their personality more. I don't know if it will reduce the bullying, but maybe it will help to see the cast in a different light, in a more positive light. But I don't know, maybe it is illegal because they're so stingy with the footage. It's like, why are you being stingy? Let the people have what they want, like give the people what they're asking for. But if they keep going at the rate that they're going, I don't know if the show will have any longevity, because you know the bullying is crazy. Like, it's just, and people get attached to it. People just take it too far. You can always depend on a human being to take it too far. But yeah, we're still watching Love Island USA season 7. I'm not really that invested in the UK version one. I've only watched the season 10. I haven't watched the season prior, and I didn't watch. And I haven't watched the current season of Love Island UK. But yeah, we left off on episode 7, and episode 8 starts with Ace and Nick talking about his drama with Amaya. Ace said that like he's turned off by her behaviors. Amaya is talking about the situation with Hannah, and she feels like Ace is still her number one. I'm just gonna have to shake my head at that, because ma'am, what makes you think that you're still his number one if none of the conversations you guys have had went well? It ends up in you being in tears, and then you guys don't get into a resolution. I'm confused by her thinking that Ace is still her number one, where they just haven't had any chemistry, you know. They don't, I don't know, I want to say they're like oil and water, but I'm not sure, because she didn't really let him speak. Like, she would just cut him off, and then she would just talk, and then she would start crying, so the conversation doesn't go anywhere. And it's like she's not aware of his like body language when they're having conversation. Like, Ace, if you pay attention to him, if he doesn't like the person, if he's not comfortable, like, he doesn't really let people in. So he usually sits far away with his arms folded, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, his body language is not inviting at all. So I don't know what Amaya was thinking. But yeah, next we go into Jeremiah and Alandria having a conversation. He was just basically like, I guess he was trying to get her perspective on it, like, as far as dating Huda, knowing that Huda has a child, and what that would look like in the outside world. And I don't know if he's trying to convince himself that he can really date a woman with a child, or what, because he said he's never dated a woman with a child. He said he's never dated a woman with a child, so I don't know. He said he's never dated a woman with a child, so I don't know what that's supposed to look like. He doesn't know what it's supposed to look like, and he's just trying to get different perspective. But honestly, I feel like he's just not comfortable with it, because that's a lot. Like, you know, if you're not used to that, if it's not something that you even thought about, if it's not something that you even thought about, I don't know, he just doesn't like, sir, have you seen what Shelly looks like? You think that she's gonna chase you? You think that she's gonna put in all that work? For what? For you to decide if you want her or not? Like, sir, like, if you see what Shelly looks like, you have a lot of audacity sitting back and wanting her basically to put in the work to get you. I'm just like, he's starting to annoy me, because how do you complain but you're not doing anything about it? Why are you complaining? Like, it's just, he's just like one of those people that you just have to tune out, because you're talking with no action. But yeah, and like him and Shelly's personality don't really match like that. You don't really see them having like deep conversation that, they don't really have deep conversation, opening up to each other, where, they get closer and get to know each other on a deeper level. So I don't know why they continue talking or being in a couple. Maybe because there hasn't been a recoupling, I don't know. But yeah, no, well, there was, but he chose Shelly because there was no other girl that he could choose. But Yehuda and Jeremiah sit down, to have a chat. The conversation was kind of like strange. Basically, she was like, they were just trying to see where each other stand. Jeremiah, he tells Huda like, hey, like, I rock with you, I like you, and I don't see anything changing. And that, like, he's okay with being with Huda. She asks if he would be talking to other people when they come in, and he didn't really acknowledge that. He just said, I'm telling you where I'm at, and he tried to reassure her that he is not pursuing others, but he's only not doing that because his type hasn't been in the villa. She tells him like, good job, and he feels like it was kind of like in a condescending way, like, oh, good job. Yeah, and he didn't like that. He's like, I don't really want to talk to you anymore, because she felt like she was talking to a kid when she was like, oh, good job, good job. And it did come off like, when a kid does something and you be like, good job, oh, good job. And so it did come off like that. And he was like, no, I just don't want to talk to you, because when you're tired, you gaslight me. And I was like, it was just strange. Like, what do you mean? When she's tired, she gaslights you. But the conversation just kind of ends there. They're just staring at each other. I don't know. Their personality doesn't really match. Like, he doesn't get when Huda is joking, and Huda doesn't get when he's joking. And so it just looks awkward, and like, I don't know, it just looks awkward. And they get ready for bed. Ace gives Shelly a hug. Amaya asked if he was going to give her a hug, and he said no. And Ace like, respectfully, he's like, no, respectfully. And everybody went to bed. The next morning, Ace planned a yoga day for Shelly with the help from Nick and Taylor. Shelly, she was making awesome breakfast, but Ace interrupted that and was like, get ready. And Ace interrupted her making breakfast for Austin and just told her, like, to go get ready. So she goes upstairs to the girls' room to start getting ready, but she ended up getting into it with Amaya. Well, mostly Amaya got into it with her. Like, she started, I guess, confronting Shelly because she wanted to know what was going on between Shelly and Ace, and she feels like Shelly wasn't she barely let, you know, Shelly like speak to her and explain things to her. Like basically like, I'm not sure like what's going on between you, but I was still being a friend to you. Like, you know, my friendship to you wasn't fake. But yeah, she could barely talk. Amaya just blah 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 blah. Like she does not like to let people talk. It's like, why do you start a conversation with somebody if you don't want nothing to do with their answer? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, it's Hannah tried to jump in and like help her out, like, hey, you gotta let her talk. But still, it was just a hot mess. Ace waiting and waiting and waiting downstairs, and Shelly never came downstairs for their date. Landria was outside. I think she was the only girl outside. So Ace is like asking her what's happening, and she just told him to be transparent with his connection so that it doesn't seem like he is moving sneakily. The breakfast date was cancelled. But yeah, no, that whole confrontation just made Shelly emotional. And I felt bad for her because, you know, nobody likes to start their day off with like something negative, somebody confronting you about something, and then you're not even able to defend yourself. Obviously, Austin was happy that the date didn't go through, so, you know, after a while, Shelly go have breakfast with Jeremiah and Ace, and she was just telling them about, you know, the confrontation in the morning and stuff like that. So then after that, Ace pulls Amaya to the side so that they can, you know, have a conversation about what's going on. He starts the conversation letting her know like, hey, we're gonna talk, we're gonna understand each other, and we're not gonna cut each other off. He lets Amaya start the conversation because he wanted to see, like, you know, where she was coming from, like to see things from her side. She brought up like the hug thing from the night before, and that she didn't know that Ace was trying to explore Shelly, that he only made a broad statement. He didn't like specify that he wanted to know Shelly, I guess. He did try to tell her like, hey, I did tell you that I was still gonna explore Shelly. Yeah, she cuts him off. She doesn't even let him talk, and she's just talking and talking and talking. He tried to maintain the conversation, but she just overtalked, and he wasn't gonna try to overtalk her. She's just going off, and you can tell like he tuned her off completely, like he wasn't even listening. When he was finally able to get a word in, he lets her know that he's done and that she can go explore other options. And basically, that's just where they ended. Jeremiah vents to Nick about it, talking to him like he is a kid. You can tell he's starting to get annoyed by her. So it's like they're just getting on each other's nerve, and you know that's what happens when you move too fast with somebody. Things like that, where it's like you overlook their personality and the things that they do, and you know, once the lust wears out, then you start to notice things about them. Ace and Shelly finally have a conversation after the hectic morning. He tells her he wants to spend more time with her, and he was disappointed that, you know, the day he had planned usual Austin where he's just whining, but not doing anything. And they showed a clip like Amaya, she was just having a conversation with Hannah, and she tells Hannah like if things are too peaceful in her relationship, she starts argument. And I'm like, that's such a red flag. And that kind of explain, I don't know if that explain how she carries herself or how she has conversations with people. But I can see like she likes toxicity, because who says that? And when Ace tried to have a mature conversation with him, you just wanted to make it an argument. So that's a red flag for me. Like I was just like, this seems like a red flag. I don't know how that's normal. Like, you're looking for toxic love. I don't know why that is, but that's something she needs to get checked out. So they go into the night. They're all just hanging out, chilling, and they get a text to get ready for a game night, pucker or pie game night. And it's supposed to be asking like messy questions, and then you tossed a coin. If it lands on pie, then you pie the person. If it lands on a kiss, then you kiss the person. Nick goes first. And his question was like, besides your partner, who is the best kisser? And he chooses Alandria. Their first kiss, honestly, on the first day, it did look like they were connecting. He flipped a coin and it landed on pie, so he had to pie her. Jeremiah was next, and his question was, who is the most high maintenance, like who takes forever to get ready, basically. He chooses Huda, and it lands on pie, and he buys her. Alandria's question, like who would fake their relationship, and she chose Jeremiah. And I thought that was interesting, because it's like, he did mention about winning from the very, like, I think the first episode or like the second episode. So I don't know if that's why she chose him, or basically because of how the relationship with Huda is going. So he chooses Sierra, same. I don't blame her for choosing Shelly. Honestly, she could have chose any of the girls. Honestly, she could have chose any of the girls, and I still wouldn't blame her. She threw the penny on the floor so that it can land on Kiss, like on purpose, so that she can make out with Shelly. I don't blame her at all. So her and Shelly make out, and everybody was just excited. Everybody was just hype. It was funny. Um, and Ace goes next. His question was, who has the nicest smile? And he chose Shelly. And he tossed the coin. It landed on Kiss. Yeah, these people is freaks. And like he picked up the pie, pretending like he was gonna buy her. She's like, no, what do you mean? And then he licked the pie. And then he started making out, like, mind you, her face and neck already has pie from earlier, when she got pied. So this one was funny. Like, they went in, and it was just like, those people, those two, they definitely have chemistry. They have a strong physical chemistry. Austin is next, and his question was, who was most likely to cheat? He chose Santa. It landed on Pie. He pied her, and then they ended up making out. He's like lifting her and like doing all kinds of stuff or whatever. And the game just kind of ends right there. The girls, they go to their section, and the men go to their section. For them to just converse, for them to just recap game night. Amaya talks to the girls, and she said like she doesn't understand what they mean by trying too hard. And she was just talking trash on Taylor. I've gotta give Alandia props, because another woman talking about your man like that, but she just sat there and listened. I was like, wow, she's very mature. But I mean, Amaya's concern is valid, because what do you mean trying too hard? She generally didn't know what was, if they were being like shady to her or not. The boys are talking to Jeremiah, and they tell him they feel like Huda wasn't being truthful about her answer during like the challenge. And Nick tells him that the way Huda comes off like fraudulent, like he feels like Huda is like fraudulent because of was just started giving her cold shoulder. Like he wasn't trying to hug her, hold her, or none of that. He was just like sitting like standoffish. And she goes and sit on the opposite side, but she was like trying to figure out like what did she do? Like why is he mad at her? Why is the sudden change towards her? And then she go back to him and pulls him for a chat. And he was just like, he wasn't really trying to talk. And she was just encouraging him like, oh, you know, communicate with me, like what's going on. And then he just tells her about like the comments the guys were making to him. And she was just trying to understand why he was listening to other people and why he's letting other people basically like say stuff about her to him that would make him change his mood towards her. He tried to talk to her. Then he was like, you know, he mentioned like, oh, this is how they feel because I was talking to, I think it was one of the girls about their issues, and Huda was like, what? You are never ever supposed to talk about our issues with other people. If there's something going on, you need to come and talk to me. Don't ever talk about, you know, our relationship. Don't ever talk about our relationship with anybody. And he was just kind of looking at her like, okay, I won't. But the way she was talking, it was like she was scolding a child. The conversation, I don't know, it was just kind of weird. They weren't really like, you know, Huda is not really understanding, and Jeremiah is not really good at speaking, especially like expressing himself or what he's feeling. So the conversation just kind of like ends there. We go into episode 9. Huda and Jeremiah were still having their conversation, but eventually they make up. Shelly and Amaya, they made up had a conversation, and Amaya apologized to her, and that's like, I thought that was good because they don't need that drama there. And you know, they're stuck with each other 24/7. There's no need to be fighting and like, you know, having animosity towards each other. Ace decided like he wasn't sleeping in the bed with Amaya, so he got his blanket and he went to sleep outside in soul ties. And honestly, I can understand where he's coming from. Like, if I'm not getting along with somebody, I don't want to share a bed with them. Like don't sleep next to me or any of that. And then, you know, they get the rest, everybody else get ready for bed. Huda and Jeremiah end up having coitus, and I was just like, y'all, I don't know, like, y'all are moving too fast, ma'am, sir. You can't keep your stuff in your pants. Like, I was just like, wow. But yeah, the next day, you know, Ace plans a breakfast date for Shelly. You know, kind of tried to make up for, you know, the fight that happened before that, and he wasn't able to do anything for her. And make up for the yoga date not going through. Huda pulls Nick for a chat to, you know, she wanted to tell Nick that she's a mom, so that way Jeremiah can have somebody that it's a lot. I don't know if I would be able to do something like that, like donate my eggs to, to somebody. But yeah, Taylor sets up a cute like dance date with Alandria. And it was like a dancing lesson, and Ace was teaching them. It was like a little bit of, salsa dancing. It was cute. Everybody gathered around to watch them and encourage them. And then after that, they kiss. The kiss looked interesting, to say the least. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just have to watch it to understand what I mean. I don't know. It's like, yeah, you just have to watch it. I was just like, it looked interesting. That's all I can say. But yeah, Shelly is torn between Austin and Ace. And honestly, I don't know how she's torn between those two, because we never really see Austin put in work. Like, he never put in effort. He never tried to do anything special for her. Like, he's always just complaining and whining that he doesn't want to be in this love triangle, but he's not doing anything about it. So I'm not sure, like, unless him and Shelly were having deep conversation and actually connecting, and they just didn't show us. But from what they showed us, he never put in any work with her. He never tried. So I've always been confused as to why he was whiny about it. And I was always confused, like, why is Shelly torn? Because we see one person put in the work and the other person, like, not do any of that at all. But yeah, as Shelly was talking about her being torn between those two, they get a text. They get a text to get ready for a leather and lace party. They get excited. They get dressed in some like leather lingerie, like dominatrix type of things. I don't know if it's dominatrix. I don't know if it's BDSM. Well, I don't know what BDSM stand for. I just know it like 50 Shades of Grey. I think that would be considered BDSM, like when he would punish her by, like, I guess spanking her and stuff like that. So that's what I know from it. And there were always, I think they always wore leather. I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie in forever, but yeah, they get dressed in like the leather lingerie type of thing, whatever that is. Ariana comes in. She's also in costume. Like, she's wearing a black wig, a red dress, and then a red, I think it was like a jacket, like a trench. I don't know if it was a trench coat. I don't know, but it's like very long, and he had a long train. She came in, she looked amazing, she looks hot. And yeah, she comes in and she lets them know, like, what they're gonna be doing. And the first thing is for the boys to get tied up. And the girls will have to show their sexy move to the guy that, they are coupled, to the guy that they are coupled up with. So they all get tied up. And then it's like there's, I don't know what they're called. It was like a whip, and it was like a whip, and I think it's like a paddle. I don't know, it's just a bunch of stuff, I guess, that you can use to spank somebody with or whatever. So they had that as props. Once the guys are all tied up, the first person to go up is Hannah, and she, like, do like a little seductive move on Charlie, and then she like spits in his disgusting. Like, ugh. Like I just even like talking about it makes me want to throw up because spitting in the mouth, that's um that's a different level of disgust. And Huda goes next, and Huda goes on Jeremiah. She likes, I don't know, like licking him from like the bottom up. And Jeremiah had to wear two shorts. He was like, just, to be on the safe side. But I don't know. It was just, the whole thing was just, I don't know, watching it is uncomfortable. I don't know how they felt as they were going through it, because it kind of just looks, I don't know, maybe that's just not my type of thing. So that's why I look at it like it's uncomfortable, but to each their own. Ace and Amaya, there's still coupled up. So when Amaya, like, had to do her dance, like, moves on him, I noticed that she did respect his boundaries, and she didn't like try to like touch upon him or do too much, whatever. But he just looked uncomfortable with the whole thing, and I felt bad for both of them, honestly, because they're stuck with each other and they don't talk to each other. Alandria went, and of course, she did her move on Taylor, and he's so silly. He like broke out of, I guess you can use your imagination, like chain. He broke out of the chain and he had to be put back, but it was funny, it was cute. They looked like they were having fun. Shelly and Austin looked like they were having fun. Austin looked too into it, like the whole thing. How he was even excited to see Ariana. I wanted Ariana to spank him. Like, he just looked like that's the type of time he's on. He looks like, like he's used to stuff like that. Once all the girls go, Ariana makes an announcement that they're bringing in 2 new bombshells, and then the camera pans to, like, it's like a runway, like the entrance with the runway, and it's 2 new guys coming in. They're also dressed in theme. It is Jalen and Pepe. Pepe, he's a professional basketball player. He plays overseas. I think he's originally from Spain. I don't know, he's either from Spain or he's Cuban. But yeah, he plays overseas basketball. And he comes in. He said he's looking. Well, he said he's coming in for. I think he said Hannah and Sierra. it was interesting, and I'm just like, for Jalen, like, this is your first time outside of the country, and you're on a freak show, and your first time on TV, you're out here making out with, all these girls, and I'm just like, I wonder, like, if he was shy, if he was nervous, like, what was going through his mind? Did he process everything that's going on? Like, it just seemed like it was a lot. But they go and they tied all the girls and they kissed all the girls. And then after that, Ariana makes another announcement that there's gonna be another bombshell. And now the girls have to be turned around and the guys, like, have to be facing, I guess, Ariana. And the bombshell that comes in is Iris. She's cute. I don't know if she's like a bombshell, 'cause she's pretty, don't get me wrong, but her looks are more like, it's like she just looks innocent, like, you know what I mean, like she looks like someone that just gardens and read and spend time, like, with nature and just minds her business, like, like a person that just wants to be at peace, a person that's just like lives a peaceful life. So, and to me, like, when I think of bombshells, I'm thinking like someone that you look at them and you can tell, like, that they're trouble, and she doesn't look like that. So Iris comes in and introduces herself, and then it just kind of ends right there with like Iris coming in, and the guys are excited because there's a bombshell for them as well. But yeah, so Iris comes in, she introduces herself, the guys are excited, and then now it's her turn. She has to go and kiss all the guys, and as she was making her rounds, everybody, like, participating. Now when it comes to her kissing Jeremiah, Huda turns her head all the way around and she's cussing at Iris, calling her the B word, and basically wanting Iris to back up off Jeremiah. Like, what? Like, it's a part of the game. I don't know if it's game night, but it's a part of, the challenge or whatever it is that they call it. Like, why are you calling that girl out of her name? Because she's doing what she's told to do. Like, Huda needs help. I don't know the right words to describe her, but she needs therapy, extensive therapy, like the highest level of therapy, extensive therapy, whatever it is. Like, she just needs therapy, because girl, you can't go around just calling somebody out of their name, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I don't think Iris heard it. I don't know, it looks like she did, because she did back up off it, but I'm not sure. I just thought that was uncalled for. So that episode's end there, and then episode 10 starts. It starts, with the bombshells making their rounds, getting to know, like, the islanders. The boys are talking to Jalen and Pepe. Jalen, of course, he came in for Alandria. And I don't blame him. Alandria's like, she's that girl. cried when he had to leave. Like, that was hard for him. And I can believe that, like, having to go from some, like, a small town where everybody pretty much know everybody and go into the big city. I can only imagine. And then next we have Pepe and Amaya. They're having their chat. Amaya talks about, being the oldest and her younger siblings being a year old. And I'm like, dang, like, your parents is like, we gonna give you a sibling, whether you like it or not. She talks about her family, like her being the oldest, and her youngest sibling is her youngest sibling is a year old, and I think Amaya's like 24 or 25. And I thought that was cute, like, to have a sibling that young, like that age gap is crazy. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how she felt having to leave, like, the baby behind. But you gotta live your own life. And Pepe talks about, his background and his family. But I think he was just having a conversation with her, just to have a conversation with her. I don't know if they're required to talk to every person in the villa, but he just didn't seem like interested at all. Iris, she has like a quick conversation with Jeremiah, and she tells him, like, she wanted to pull him for a chat but wasn't sure because Huda made it seem like they were closed off. Iris, has a quick chat with Jeremiah. She tells him, like, she wanted to pull him for a chat but wasn't sure because Huda made it seem like they were closed off. And Jeremiah tells Iris that she could pull him for a chat, that he wants to get to know her. They get ready for bed, they go to bed, and like, I guess once the lights go off, they're still awake having conversation. And Huda is talking to Jeremiah, trying to figure out if she has to worry about him because he hasn't asked her to be his girlfriend. And he tells her no, that they are together. And then I don't know what's wrong with her. She asked him if he would share his location, like, if they were dating in the real world. And he's like, he don't like that. It's hard for him to trust people. And I'm glad he shut that down, because why sharing location? Like, ma'am, you just met this guy. Why are you trying to share location with him? And you have a daughter. Why would you just want anybody to have your location? Like, I just don't. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I just don't understand that part. And she was like, she's scared of people leaving her. And it's like, her saying that, then I wonder, like, do you have like abandonment issues? Do you have, like, were you neglected as a child, or at any point in your life? first, so she was gonna go make a better one. But then she goes in the kitchen and asks Taylor to help her with the pancakes. And she's doing that while Jeremiah is also in the kitchen. I guess she wanted a reaction, maybe, out of Jeremiah. And Jeremiah was just like, honestly, he was unfazed by it. He was just like, oh, okay. Like, oh, okay, good for you. And I don't blame him. Like, that's where the episode ends. So we go into episode 12. Episode 12, Pepe and Hannah finish, their chat, and now, their make out more. It was more so making out than chat. And they rejoined the group. This whole time, Hannah's over there making out with Pepe. Charlie was freaking out. He pulled Shelly to the side, and Shelly was just talking to him like it's okay. Like, don't think of the worst. Don't think like, she's in there doing all these things. Mind you, she was in there doing all those things. He had every right to worry, but yeah, Pepe and Hannah rejoined the group. And then Nick is so messy. Nick pointed out that Pepe had makeup on him to test them, and they fell for it. They admitted to kissing, and then everybody was like, oh, so Hannah was like wondering if she should be honest with Charlie, and they encouraged Hannah to be honest with Charlie about what happened at the speakeasy. Because that speakeasy is supposed to be Hannah and Charlie, that's where they have their first kiss. So they encourage her to be honest, yeah, tell him about the kiss, but also tell him where it happened. So Hannah comes and pulls Charlie for a chat, and they go talk, and she tells him about her and Pepe having a connection and them making out. Charlie tried to look cool on the outside, but he was not cool about it at all. Shelly and Austin have a chat, about how they feel about each other, and Shelly reassuring him that, that she's still interested in both Ace and Austin, and I'm still confused as to why that's a hard decision for her, but hey, maybe there were things that was happening that we just don't know about. But in the confessional, Shelly admit that Austin get in his own head, and that he doesn't even try, and that he needs constant reassurance, and she feels like that can be exhausting. And finally, I'm glad that she's starting to see it, because I'm like, yeah, all he does is whining but doesn't do anything about it. I would be exhausted too, having to reassure him every 5 seconds, do something. You're not doing anything to win me over. But yeah, then after that, Ace pulls Shelly for a chat, and he just tells Shelly about his conversation with Iris, and that he would like to keep exploring Shelly and Iris. She lets him know that it wasn't good to hear that, and I don't blame her. I need you to know what you want, because what are you doing? Every 5 seconds you want to explore, just commit to her. But maybe that's just too soon, and he's just not ready for it. And then next we have Jeremiah and Huda, have their conversations again. They made up, that was, and he was just looking like, oh, okay, like, you know, in his head, he's like, what is going on? He was so confused. She was just like, you can come and talk to me, don't talk to anybody. Like, the conversation just turned awkward, like, and they're not listening to each other. Their personalities just don't even match. Like, it was a hot mess. It just kind of ends there. They get ready for bed. Everybody goes to bed, and once the lights go off, Hoda and Jeremiah have coitus. Like one shot just fighting, and you guys didn't resolve the issue. So you're gonna go have coitus. Okay. I guess that's one way to get over a problem or bury a problem. I don't know. The next morning, the girls are getting ready, and like, you know, Huda like talks, like, let the girls know basically like her and Jeremiah have coitus. Mind you, the night before that, she was scolding him for sharing their relationship information with other people, but you're sharing. And I don't even know if and I don't even know if he knows that she was sharing. But that was just like, okay, the double standard is interesting. Yeah, so as they were talking, Jeremiah brings Suda breakfast, and you know, they hug and kiss, and she pretended like she said I love you by mistake. I don't buy it. I feel like she said it on purpose, and then because it's too soon, or because how she felt about it. I'll just say that. Uh, but yeah, and then next we have Charlie. He pulls Amaya for a chat and he tells her he wants to explore her. But she automatically like shuts it down because she's close with Hannah and she feels like he was making like decision based on emotion, like he's upset, like he's still upset at Hannah and Pepe connecting and getting closer to each other and making out. So, and then as Amaya, she was just like, I can't do that, I can't betray her. And then she starts crying and I was just like, I was confused. I was like, it's sweet, but then I was confused, like, why are you crying that much? Meanwhile, Hannah and Pepe sucking their lips off of each other's faces. Amaya was crying because she doesn't have a strong connection with anyone and she didn't want to change her morals. And meanwhile, Hannah and Pepe sucking their lips off of each other's faces. Amaya is over here crying and she was like, she feels like she doesn't have strong connection with anyone and she didn't want to change like her morals and do like one of her friends wrong. And I guess that's understandable. She was okay on waiting. She was just like, she's okay on waiting to find her person, whether in the villa or not. And she was saying that in the confessional. I can see where she's coming from. I can see where she's coming from when she's like, you're making decisions based off of emotion. Now, if he sincerely pulled her for a chat when he wasn't trying to be petty to Hannah, then I think maybe she would have been interested in Charlie because, they're all supposed to be exploring until, they find somebody. And then after that, Amaya goes and tells Hannah about the interaction with Charlie. And Hannah, surprisingly, she wasn't upset. She was just like seeing, how, that he's still upset about, the night before. And then Taylor pulls Alandria for a chat, just again to check up on her and see where she is with Jalen. And she lets him know, Jalen asked for a kiss and they peck, but she doesn't like to start relationship off of physical. She prefers mental stimulation first. And she tells Taylor she likes her connection with Taylor because it started off with mental, it started off mental. I can understand, the not wanting the physical part, but then I don't know how Taylor mentally stimulates her. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I genuinely, most of the time, I don't understand what he's saying. It almost sounds like he's mumbling. I don't know if he's just shy or he's awkward. Maybe it's a mixture of both. So I never know what they're talking about. Not really. And we don't really get clips of them having deep conversation. Most of their conversation in a way seems to be surface level. But yeah. And then the camera goes to Hannah and Charlie having a chat. She starts out by apologizing to him because of how she has been acting. She addressed the Amaya issue with Charlie going after Amaya. Charlie admitted that he messed up, but he thought he was losing Hannah. She reassured him they are good, she was happy, about it. And they kiss. It was a cute moment. She tells him she doesn't want to kiss anyone else and doesn't want anyone else, and that made Charlie happy. And I'm glad she gave him that because he was really on a different type of energy when he thought he was losing her. was really vibing with somebody and I have a strong connection with them, like it would take a lot from me. Like, of course, I wouldn't make a big deal out of it, but internally, I would feel like I would be furious probably. But yeah, he just like tells her, like, you know, she wanted to participate. So her saying she was gonna get her lick back, I don't know. I just thought, I don't know what she about his relationship with Huda and that they started too strong, too fast. Huda is crying to the girls because she was confused about America's decision, and she doesn't know if they are warning her or they hit her. And I felt bad because she was really crying because she just didn't know. And it's like, damn, I don't know, the feeling like the world hates you. he was talking about possibly exploring, Iris Huda comes from across the other side where she's listening, and she's like, by all means, explore, brother, explore. And it was just, and they were just looking like, oh, okay. And then she goes to the girls, oh my gosh, and just start crying. He just said he wants to explore with her, like the way this woman was hyperventilating and had to calm her down. The more they're trying to calm her down, the louder she got. And then she's yelling across the villa, F-U, you know, B-I-T-C-H, you're a, you know, P-U-S-S-Y, like F-U. And I'm just like, ma'am, what? Nothing he did warrant that. But it's like, you lost him, man. Like, you called him out of his name for no reason. Like, I don't know what kind of life she was living outside of the villa, but in the real world, someone that has self-respect doesn't just go around letting someone that has self-respect doesn't just, like, you know, let people disrespect them and call them outside of their name. Like, ma'am, that's not the name his parents gave him. Like, it was crazy. And then it was like, oh, she's gonna go talk to Iris. So she goes upstairs and interrupt their conversation. Like, Iris, can I talk to you? And, like, you know, she asked Pepe and Jalen to excuse themselves. But they were hesitant. They kind of didn't want to leave Iris alone with Huda. And I don't blame her, because her energy came off like she was very, like, it was very aggressive. And I can see, like, Iris was a little bit afraid too, because she was confused. But, you know, they go into soul ties and start having conversation. And she wanted to know, like, you know, how was the date? Like how was the date and stuff like that. Yeah, Jalen and Pepe were hesitant. And they didn't feel comfortable, like, just leaving Iris there. But, you know, Huda excused them, so they don't know what they could do. So they were just like, you know, they're gonna let the other girls know to join the conversation. So they went downstairs to, you know, let the other girls know. So then the OG girls went upstairs. Huda starts the conversation with Iris. That's before the girls joined them. She was like, oh, I heard everything Jeremiah said, but I want to hear from you. And she was like, oh, I just heard their conversation. Jeremiah didn't think I was listening. And she asked Iris, like, please tell me how the date went. And Iris was just like, the date went well. They were just having conversation. And he told her, like, you know, he's open to exploring. And then the camera pins to Pepe and Jalen, letting the girls know, you know, to go check up on Iris. So the girls, you know, they gather up to go upstairs and join Huda and Iris. And Huda is just like, as Iris is talking, Huda is still like, oh my gosh, he's the B word, So she's telling Iris, like, you know, I told him, like, I don't deal with PS, I don't do second chances. And then she weirdly asked Iris, like, did he say anything about me at all? And I don't know. I mean, they briefly talk about Huda, but not, like, you know, that wasn't the main focus. I don't know who would go on a date to go and talk about someone else, you know what I mean? So yeah, they were just having their conversation. Huda was still asking Iris question, and Iris was answering them. And I gotta give props to Iris, because she maintained her cool. She stayed calm. And she was honest about the date. Like, her and Jeremiah don't know each other that well, and they haven't really spent that much time together. So, and they haven't really spent that much time together, and there were a couple asking her question, and then she asked her like, what was the date? And Iris was like, she she kept asking her questions, kept talking to her, and then she asked her like, what was the date? And Iris was like, it was just a date on the beach. And it was like, it's an island. It wasn't really gonna go to like restaurants or whatever because they're filming the show. So Iris told her like, it's a day on the beach. And Hoda was like, wow, my dream date. And he knows that. Mind you, Iris and Jeremiah didn't set this date up. Iris and Jeremiah didn't choose to couple up. America decided to couple Iris and Jeremiah because Iris was a bombshell and she didn't have anybody. She talked to a few people, but America made them a couple. So for her to react that way and be like, wow, my dream date, cute, like, and he knows that. I don't even think he knows that. And even if he knew that, he didn't set the date up. But yeah, the conversation eventually ended, and you can tell from everybody's face, like they were just over it. They were just tired. Dakota was just there, like breaking down and crying, and she tried to make it seem like this whole thing, like that there was, and she tried to make it seem like Jeremiah was the bad guy in the relationship, and I don't know why she would think that like that night before y'all got broken up by America, you were like, you were happy about your relationship, but now you think he's a bad guy. Ma'am, no, y'all was just too toxic together. So the girls end their conversation there, and then they go and get ready, for the night. And then like you will see like Huda was talking about, Iris to Shelly and claiming that Iris is messy and that she feels like that Iris moves funny and that Iris is not a girl's girl. What? Like, from the first date that girl got there, when she had to go kiss everybody around, you called her out of her name, and then you put a stamp on Jeremiah's face so that no other girl could want him. And then you basically ran up on Iris to ask her, basically interrogate her about her date with Jeremiah, the man that she's coupled up with. She gave you an honest answer and she's been nice to you, and you go and talk about her and talk about she moves funny and she's not a girl's. First of all, nobody really wants to be a girl's because that's a toxic. That's just a toxic thing to be a part of. A lot of girls are not girls. They just use that to get other girls they just use that to keep other girls in line while they do snake stuff behind your back. Like, I do not trust anyone that says that they are a girls. If you're always talking about you being a girls, I cannot be your friend because you're gonna try to use that to try to control me, and then we're gonna have a problem because no, I am not a girls. Do not put me in that category. I am just myself, and I treat people with respect. I treat people like they're human. I treat men or women, I treat them like human first. And if they showed me a side of them that's ugly and that doesn't align with basically, like, he was just letting her know, like, hey, like, yesterday I want to apologize for that. Like, he didn't come and comfort her, which I don't think he owed her an apology anyways, because they were both affected by them being broken up. Like, I feel like people acted like Jeremiah is not human, doesn't have feelings, and everybody just wanted like the attention on Huda, but Jeremiah was affected by it as well. So he apologizes, and the way this girl, and he apologizes, and this girl was not listening at all. She didn't listen to anything that he was saying. She was listening to respond, because she was listening to respond. Because right after he finished apologizing, she's talking about, oh, that's something that you do a lot, and I notice patterns, ma'am. Why do you recognize patterns in other but you don't recognize it in yourself? Because you're very toxic, extremely toxic. That's like, you need to look in the mirror when talking about patterns and recognize that, like, you're not who you think you present yourself as. I think she thinks she presents herself like this nice girl that's just great to everybody, and it's like, you've been disrespectful to Jeremiah, you've been disrespectful to Iris, you've been shady to Amaya. Like, you've done a lot of things, and you've just done a lot. You've just done a lot in the short period of time that you guys been in the villa. So it's like it was just weird for her to just jump automatic and be like, oh, that's something that you do a lot, and I've noticed patterns. Then she started accusing him of not caring for her and blah blah. Like, that she was just getting more, like, animated and like trying to blame him for everything that's happening. She's like, you're the reason this is happening. That's an abusive person right there, because Jeremiah is not responsible for you guys not being together. America is, and America chose that way because of the way you and Jeremiah were moving in the villa. Both of you act like nobody can talk to your partner, but you guys are not even closed off. So America was watching that, and America decided to break it up. Like, how is it Jeremiah's fault? And then she was like, you're the reason everything's happening to me here.